Hey, good day, everybody. How y'all doing today? It's Nathaniel Evans. I am the Data Podcast. Listen, I'm waiting for my co-host, Jeannie. I haven't ran into her today. Hope all is well. But I'm going to continue on and actually work through this project. And as you say, I'm Nathaniel Evans, host of I'm a Data Podcast. I focus on leadership and spirituality. And this journey has taken me. I'm not just here for no reason. I actually been through a few journeys and a few paths in this life. And it's always great to, share and interact and connect with other people on these different platforms. So this is why I'm here. And I actually just want to discuss today what is your why? And this concept has been around I know longer than me, actually looking at an individual's why. And there you go. I was just talking about the cat in the hat, and we found her. You here? You left? Oh, you having a trouble?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, sister.
Woo!
Everything good? Yeah, you had a long day today.
Yes, and I just came in and I haven't changed. So I'm in all my glory.
Yeah, yeah. Now to get to see the real genie, what you really be looking like. You know what I'm saying?
Praise be
That's
to
big. That
Allah. Praise be to
praise
Allah.
be,
So I
praise be to the most. That's right. I'm here. We are listening. I'm listening to you.
oh, so how are you? As you can see, I am rushing, but I am so excited about being here with you
Yeah,
today, Nathaniel. I missed being here with you last Sunday.
that's good. You had a great time. I heard you went to a great event. It's part
Yes,
of which is a
yes.
part of your. It was a part of your why. It was part of your
That,
why.
that's right. That's right. It's a great part of my why. And
Yeah.
it's and I'm going to start out by saying again, I always try to express my gratitude. And
Mm-hmm.
I am so grateful for this platform. I'm so grateful to you, Nathaniel, for being the mastermind behind this, and that we have an opportunity to live out our why, uh,
Mm.
and be able to help others to discover their why. Because when you discover your why and when you live in your why, that brings you joy, peace, and happiness. And I am Jeanne Muhammad, your global happiness expert. So
Yeah,
thank you
definitely.
again, Nathaniel, for just providing us with this platform.
Same here for you, Jeannie. And he's looking at looking at that big why, right? And you see everybody they be online, they be doing like the little heart signs and stuff, right? So,
Yes,
your why is actually your heart sign, right? Is actually what actually pulls the string of your heart, what allows you to challenge obstacles that you would have never in your life imagined. You know, be willing to
right,
go through changes in your life, even major losses and stuff like that with friends and family and even loved ones for your why, right? All these things are attached to that why, and it all come as you become the sacrificial lamb, basically speak for your why, right?
oh,
When you put that
yes,
why there, you become the sacrificial lamb for that why, and that
yes,
why is going to test your resolve at every corner of the universe. It's gonna basically put you in a space to see if you really care about that why, if that
that's
why
right.
means so much to you. Like, who can, who is strong enough that you would meet in a land that would be able to take away your wife from you,
Whoa,
right?
wow. Yes.
And if you had an opportunity to meet a person that was strong enough, because we always impressed by iconic things, right? So imagine, you have opportunity to meet an iconic entity, a figure that is stronger than your why. Would you want to meet that entity?
Mm,
Would you want to be in
mm,
the same room with that entity, right?
mm.
And we would say no, majority of us, because we're egotistical, we're self-loathing, we're full of self-love and compassion for ourselves. So we're actually going to take the higher ground and say, no, I don't want to be in the same room with somebody that could take my why, because my why is so important to me, right? But then we'll go out and we'll meet people and we'll put them in front of our why.
Say that again. Say that
Yeah,
again.
we don't want to intentionally be placed in front of someone that can actually uproot us from the root. But we will intentionally place ourselves to find someone to actually to allow them to uproot us. So
Mm,
so so when the Most High tells you, yo, I'm going to do these things to put you in perspective, you'll say, no, 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 I don't want to go through any of those trials and tribulations, right? Because this is my own existence. I'm in control of my own path, right? So I don't want to go through any of
right.
those different things. However, when the Most High turns his back, you sneak into another space that's a similarity to what he was offering you, but you want to learn this thing on your own. You want to figure this
Mm,
process on your own, right? So you want to linking yourself to people in the land, right, that has more power than you, that has more money than you, right, that has more influence and structures than you in the world, and you become a puppet for your
woo.
why. And
Oh,
you don't realize what that why is for you when you go into spaces and when you meet different people in the world. You don't realize what is the essence of your why, right?
mm-hmm.
Everything in this unit. And I came up with a concept, hit me the other day, a couple of weeks ago, and I always, love to share things with people, especially when things, take place like on a spiritual level or on a metaphysical
Right,
level. It's just so, enlightening to go through certain things, but also to be able to share them, with other people. And
right.
I was just sitting there the other day and I was just, contemplating through my little introspection. And a concept hit me like a ton of bricks, I tell you. Right? And the concept was, it said that God does not lie.
Woo.
And
Oh, Nathaniel.
I was just taken aback. I was like, wow, that's kind of that's some deep stuff. And I was saying, like, even making me tear up that I even said that, but it's just like,
Wow.
you know and it was saying, God does not lie. And basically the message was basically like, pay attention to the messages that's actually given to you in the universe, because all those messages that's given to you in the universe is associated with your why. Even if your why is hidden, there's still indicators that's pointing you to your why. So it may be
That's
hidden
right.
from you because there's so many things. And don't beat yourself up. This world is so cruel sometimes and callous. And I say that sometimes because they make men and women feel so, incomplete, because they're not able to identify their why, right? They're not able
Right,
to actually come to a clear understanding of basically who their being is, right?
right,
No, we as beings, instead of us emulating people like Aristotle and Socrates, what I mean, emulating the mean that we create statues of them, we actually reproduce their literature for decades to come, right? The literature actually going to be, my children probably actually going to study the literature of Socrates, Aristotle, when they go to college, right? And you don't practice the principles of Aristotle and Socrates in the land. right? So there's no reason why these scholars keep pushing the concepts of Aristotle, Socrates, you know, Freud, and all these different people, and they're not going to emulate these concepts. And I mean that by saying this: Socrates and Aristotle knew that man had greatness within him. That every man, not some men, but that every single man that came into existence possessed greatness within them, and their duty was to actually help those men to identify with those greatnesses so they could come to their highest potential and purpose. So don't
Right.
tell me that every man knows his purpose, that every man is aware of his why at all times in his existence.
No,
Why,
you're
why
right.
shift in the air? Why shift all the time? Your why shifts and it shifts and it shifts and it shifts and it's going to continue to shift, right? And sometimes
Right.
your why shift you. You be talking about, oh, I'm doing the why. No, the why doing you. Now you're caught up in like, how to get into this why? What's going on here? This is like a little net
Yes.
right here, right? And it's just to
Right.
show that what you say
Right.
all
I
the
have to
time.
leave for just a second. Wait.
Yeah. So when we talk about
Okay.
gratitude, and when we talk about Jeanne talks about gratitude, and we talk about compassion in the world, gratitude and compassion in the world is associated to everybody's why. Everybody has to find gratitude and compassion for their why. They have to first come to the realization that this is my why, and I'm going to put myself in the mix of this why. And the compassion part of that is that I'm going to go through the necessary steps and processes that I have to go to achieve my why, right?
Right.
And so I can continue to move forward. A lot of times we do not find the true element or the silver lining of our why until we're in the mix of it.
That's right. That's
It
right.
hits
And
us.
I
Good.
am so um uh full of this subject just as you are, Nathaniel. And because knowing your why and knowing and getting to that point of knowing your why, there's a lot of pain and suffering
Mm,
that a lot of us go through in order to come to that why and to be prepared for that why. And so that's why I know that when you see a lot of people that are really going through a lot, and we continue to go through it every day, like you
doesn't
said,
stop.
when you're in your why, life is going to continuously educate you that you have to do a little bit more, because your why is constantly shifting.
Yeah,
And so
definitely.
life
Yeah.
is constantly preparing us. And when you talk about that, I look at people that are going through a lot of pain, and they don't understand what it is and why. They'll say, "Why me, God? Why me, God?" But we don't understand how sometimes God is preparing us for something bigger than ourselves.
And I'm gonna just say this too, man. This is serious. I learned this through trial and error. It's not for you to understand.
That's true.
It's not for you to understand. It's not meant for you to understand. It's actually meant for you to go through the process and feel
That's
all the
right.
pain and the suffering. You know what I'm saying? Go through the process of shedding tears, of actually going out on a trip where nobody's at so you can scream at the top of your lungs, right? Do things, right, to release yourself while you're going through the process, right? Go get a full body massage, you know what I'm saying? Go get different things while you're going through the process so it could take, it could help you go through this motion because it's a part of your why, it's a part of your existence, right? These carbon copy structures that they create in society with their bogus movies and their fictitious edited love songs and all these different things like that. Don't let those things deceive you to make you think that there's something there in those things for you. They're not. Somebody created those things according to their why. If you want to listen to their why, then that's cool. I want to be a movie producer. He's going to produce movies. He's going to throw the movie across your screen. And you're going to say it's the greatest movie in the world, right? This is that person why that you're watching. When somebody come on with their love song and say, baby, you the best thing for me, right? So now when they come up with those things, right, that's somebody else's why. Right, he might have met a woman that was the best thing to him, right? So he went in the house and wrote a song. And it was like, baby, right? So you like, I feel the same way about my girl. You know what I'm saying? I can relate to this song, right? This is that person's why. That's that person's why, right? So we dip and dab and enjoy the realities of each other. Why? Because that's why we're here. We're gonna learn from the expressions of other lives, right? By the same token, we have to lock in our expression, for our lives.
And right? That's it, Nathaniel. Because and I was talking to a friend just a few. I was taking her home before I came on with you, and we were talking about our own little individual paths that we have. I'm on my path. I'm on the path that has been given to me. I'm fulfilling my assignment. My assignment, I cannot take my eyes off of my assignment because I'm so focused on your assignment. We all have different assignments individually.
Individually, and in addition, we're also accountable for others that come in correlation to our assignments, that come in correlations to our path, right?
And that's why Nathaniel, me and you both are just ready, aren't we?
Yeah, you got it, right? You see it, right? It's as you move through your path and as you move through your why, you're going to move through the path and whys of others that's also connected to that path of why that you're also connected to. You're not the only one that's connected to the path of why, right? Apple trees don't only grow on one continent. Banana trees don't only grow on one continent. You know what I'm saying? Pears don't only grow on one continent, right? They're all over the world. People got different things all over the world. We actually resemble the same things all over the world, right? So,
but you know what, though, Nathaniel? And that's the beauty of it, because that apple, you may get an apple from the same tree, and that apple may not taste the same.
It's not going to taste the same because they got. When you go to the supermarket, how many types of apples they in the supermarket? Tell me, what's the name of the apples? People don't even know the names of the apples. It's mad apples. They're all different. They got Granny Smith apples.
But they're apples.
But they're all apples. They're all apples. And they got different flavors to them. And that's us. We're all apples, but we just got different flavors to us. We the same apple. We just got different flavors to us, man. You know what I'm saying? Some of us is bitter.
And some of us apples is sweet. Are made to make an apple pie. Some apples are made to make apple preserve. Some apples are tart, and some apples are sweet.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, apples are also used, to brush your teeth.
That's right.
And you ain't know that. That's right. So these things that. We all got a purpose. We all got a meaning. It doesn't matter. They talk about all these nationalities and all these different races and all these different cultures, right? And it sounds so amazing to be able to differ between one another. It makes everyone so superior to one another. They can able to separate themselves from the course of life. That they can separate themselves from the process of life. Right? If I'm on the same train as you, what made you think that your path is different than my path? We're both sitting on the same train, right? At that intersection, we're on the same path. And we come out the train, you go this way, I go that way. Now we're going on different paths. But before that time place, we was in this small little box, and we was all together in that nice little box together, all according to our different paths, but we was all in that same little box. So imagine it's a cycle with a gun, right? We all on our own path. He's on his path too. He come and kill all of us, right? We all in that same space with him according to our own path. Now everything, our path kind of dissolves in a way because we gotta basically come back to make it up. You know what I mean? They got stuffed out for whatever reason. We ran across the wrong person on our path, right? So when you move on your path, you do have to pay attention to all the other elements that's in the path because some are there to enlighten you, right? Some are there to deceive you, you know what I'm saying, to convince you to do other than, you know what I'm saying? You know, some are there to distract you, and sometimes you're there to help them get back onto their path.
Right. Right.
Right?
And
There's
that's
a
why it's
whole
really,
design to this.
and that's why it's really vital that we be able to have a strong foundation in whatever we say we know and believe. We, if I say that, and I do say my mission in life, the my why is to be able to help others heal from their trauma. Now, that does not mean that I don't have my own traumas to deal with.
Oh yeah,
You
definitely,
know,
man. You know, yeah. I
that
mean,
that
yeah. I
that does
mean,
not mean that. And in fact,
I mean,
I because I'm here to help you, I have to really learn how to deal with my trauma
I
because I'm
got a
taking on
nice
my trauma
analogy.
and your trauma.
Yeah, I got an analogy for you. You know, when Harriet
Uh-uh.
Tubman, when Harriet
Uh-uh.
Tubman went to free the slaves, they didn't just run; she ran too.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, guys, I catch up. No, she was running right along with him. Right?
And she was telling them, hey, and you are not going back. You understand?
Yeah, yeah, you're not going back. Yeah, you know. So it's like, you know, understanding this big concept of why, right, is a defining factor, you know what I mean, in the peaceful success of people's lives. Not the economical success or any of those things, but the success of peacefulness within your own spirit, within your own heart. You know what I'm saying? You know, when you look at yourself in the mirror, you know, you love what you see. You know what I mean? You can, you know, we're never really content. You know what I'm saying? But we're grateful. You know,
That's
we have
right.
gratitude. You know, we have gratitude that we was able to reach this certain plateau and be able to, you know, stand on a certain level. You know what I mean? Like you'll say, you know, I made it to the condo and things of that nature. All that thing, all that stuff is nice. That's fine and dandy. You know what I mean? But you can go in places that may seem to be beautiful, but it doesn't make you beautiful, right? And
That's
your
right.
why is the beauty of your life. It's not the car, it's not the house, you know, it's not these
And you
things
know,
of
and that is
possessions.
so that is so true, Nathaniel. And you know, and at one time, and at one time, I didn't really understand the correlation between uh having a lot of money and my
Hey
why.
Keisha, how you doing?
Oh, hi, Keith.
Yeah,
You know
I'm
what?
listening.
I was in such a rush, Nathaniel. I don't have my
Hmm.
glasses on, so you're gonna have to
Okay,
read to
I
me
got
what
you.
Keisha. What did Keisha
All right.
say?
He said our own experiences are critical to be able to give tools for others.
Yes,
Our own
yes,
experiences are critical to be able to give tools to others. So without our own experience, as Keisha is actually saying, it's impossible to give tools to others, right? So
that's right.
all, you know, yeah, people actually get upset with people, or even don't support people that like a lot of time I see people coming to their awareness, or people are actually striving to make a difference in their lives, even make a difference in their world. And it's like, well, you wasn't like that 6 months ago. You wasn't that type of person a year ago. Yeah, because my why changed and I changed with it. You know what I'm saying? And now I'm going through, without experiences, there will be no life coaches. There'd be no consultants. There'd be none of those things if individuals didn't go through experiences.
That's right.
So
That's
yeah,
right.
don't let
That's
no
right.
one make you think that your experiences are not valid, right? And that what
That's
you have
right.
gone through, you will not be able to transfer and transcend to other people to actually help them elevate in life, right?
And
Our
you know
wise,
what? That's right. And that's why I was telling someone the other day, Nathaniel, this client of mine that I was making a suggestion to, and I was telling them, see, I haven't always been where I am. I haven't always been there. That's why I can say to you that it's possible. It's a possibility that you can
yeah,
do this because I have been there. I had to
and
go through what you're going through.
yeah, and one of the issues is that, and what I've seen over and over again, even with dealing with any type of they say structured, you know what I'm saying, structured, you know what I'm saying, realities in the world, right? When things are actually like principled out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you see people who will magnify themselves over experiences, right? And that actually stops the evolution of experiences from taking place in groups. And you go into groups, right? It's like, look at me, look who I am, look what I become. Like look at my Monty t-shirt and all these other different
Oh
things that we're
no,
talking
no,
about,
no, not the
right?
material,
And
not the
we're not into that.
material,
And that's the whole thing, is that we're
not the
actually not into
material.
that. Yes, right. We're not into that. And this is the things where you want to deceive and mislead people to make it seem like experiences are not the greatest teachers in the world. Experiences
Yes.
are the greatest teachers in the world. There is no greater teacher in the world through experience. You can read as many books as you want. You can watch as many YouTube videos you want, right? Experience is the best teacher. Many times, even when I was young, people were like, oh, somebody did that to me, I do this. And when somebody do that to them, they don't even do that. They do something totally different. Experience is an ultimate teacher, right? And when you going through things in your life, understand that is your experience you learning right there. That's your book. That's your coaching sessions. That's your consultancy groups. That's everything. Yes, your
And
Facebook group, whatever
knowing
you want to do.
and knowing that that's not the end. Knowing that that doesn't have to be the end. I'm going through this, and that means my life is over with.
Nah, because you know what they do? Achievements. People create achievements and they make it mystical. They make it seem like their achievements were the greatest achievements in the world, right? You know what I'm saying? Like my pal used to say, a brought lesson is better than a taught lesson. That's correct, bro. Yeah, a brought lesson is better than a taught lesson,
My mama
right?
would always say that too.
Yeah, I
A
mean,
bald
because
lesson.
you don't want to go, people don't want to go through the experience of actually what it is. Like, say for instance, if I'm on this advocacy platform and they talk about prison, most of the people that's on the platform never even been in prison, right? So this is a broad lesson to them. We're actually teaching them actually what prison is about, why you shouldn't go there, and what kind of care you're actually going to receive once you get there. Take our word
But they
from it.
might have to go in order to hey.
If they want the taught lesson, then they're gonna have to go through the process. We here, right? You can buy the lesson from us. We can teach you the lesson, and it's not for free. It's through our experiences,
That's right.
right? It's through
That's
our
right. To
experiences.
try to help those so that you don't have that same you can learn from what I've been through. You can learn from
That's right.
me.
That's correct. Because yes, my experience of teaching you this it should be a great value to you, because your experience might not be the same experience that I had, right? I've seen people, experiences things that I was like, wow, that's crazy that happened to that person. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be careful on what you actually looking to seek or what you trying to understand. You don't want to understand all
You
things.
know what? I want to tell you this story. This is so true because and this is about my oldest son. My oldest son, after high school, he decided he wanted to go into the army. I suggested to him that that was not a path that he should take. He
Mm-hmm.
did not listen to me. He decided that that's what he
That's
wanted
his
to
path.
do. That was his path. And he ended up in Panama, and he saw a lot of horrendous things. A lot of horrendous things that totally altered the path that he thought he was going to be going on. And he was saying, "But Ma, this is not what I signed up for." Some people sign up for that because they love to kill.
Yeah.
Some people, that's they love to kill.
Mm-hmm.
And killing to them does not destroy something within them.
It's a natural process of life. It's basically like moving trees out of a forest. You know what I'm saying? So you can make way for more. You know what I'm saying? So you got people that have that consciousness like that, right? Me growing up in Brooklyn, and going through the streets of Brooklyn, it was it was a horrific experience, man. I survived it, but the rooms I was in, the conversations I was in, the things that I was hearing that men were doing, it was overwhelming, and it was and it make you think about life, in a lot of ways, right?
Okay,
And
Nathaniel, again, I don't mean to interrupt you, but Mark
but I
Wheeler
read
said
that.
something.
Yeah, that's the one
What
we
is
just
it?
read.
Because
A
again, I
broad,
don't have my
a
glasses.
yeah, a broad lesson is better than a taught lesson. Yeah, we just
Oh,
talked about that.
that's what Mark said. Oh,
Yeah. That's what
okay.
Mark said. Yeah, broad lessons better than a taught lesson. Yeah, and I've have actually been through a lot of taught lessons, in my life, and on this angle, at this time, it's like, let me just give it back out, right? And that's actually to preserve life, right? We
Right.
a lot of times we're going to paths and we don't really know what those paths entail, and we don't really know if we're strong enough to entail all the different things that's on that path. A lot of times you'll
That's
start
right.
something and you'll jump off because it's just too much for you. You didn't understand the full obligation. You know what I'm saying, to this process, to this new reality. And that's one of
Right.
one of the things about the why. The why is very scary, right? Let me put it like that. The why is a scary thing, is because 90% of the time you don't know what's going on, right? You're a part of this nice little whirlwind that's lined up only for you, and nobody else don't know what is going on, and nobody can even help you really through the process,
That's right.
right?
That's
The
right.
why, yeah, the why is unique in nature, very unique in nature. Man think they can teach you a secret of yourself. Man can't teach you a secret of yourself, right? They can highlight things in their existence that will spark certain things in yours, and now you can move forward. But don't give them the credit because it has nothing to do with them. It's you being aware and you search it in the land for your why, which allows you to find it when it's time for you to find it. When it's time for you
That's
to be
right.
able to be strong enough and withstand all the different trials and tribulations, you'll lose the why, but you could come back later on and you can find it when you're strong enough to actually go through the process, right?
Right. And and that's why is sometimes we see people going through different things, and we don't understand why God is allowing that person to go through that particular thing. It's not for us to understand. We don't even understand, like you said earlier, sometimes why we're going through
What's
certain
going on
things.
with us? We don't even understand what's going on with us. We cannot really understand what's really going on with other people. And I'm gonna give you an example, right? Imagine a story that you're this individual and you actually came out of a dark space in your life. And you was like, you know what? I'm going to school because I want to become a teacher, right? This is your goal, your why. You pinpoint your why. You're going to school. You're going to be a teacher, and you only want to deal with teenagers because you had a hard time in your life as a teenager, so you actually want to give back to this population. It makes sense.
Right.
You've been a teenager, you had the hard time, you being a teacher to interact with teenagers. Boom, it makes sense. It's like you all caught up in the middle, right? And you're growing, and people saying, yo, man, yo, this is what's up, man. We like your growth, your motivation. We knew you could do it, so forth and so forth. If this individual was to fall, right, the people, even the people that was rooting them on, a lot of times do not know what substance to put back into that person to help that person get back on a path of why. Because a lot of times, the substance that you actually create on your why, nobody's in the room with you. You're totally by yourself.
That's right.
You're not in a group setting. So when you fall, a lot of times when people say, yo, I fall, I ain't got no friends, it's not that you ain't got no friends, is the fact that your why, they can't identify with it. And they probably
Right.
never could. And they probably never could. They can't invest in something that they don't understand.
That's right.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
So a lot of times, your why, it does ostracize you. It puts you on the outskirts of everything. A lot of times, everybody is because it has to be able to develop itself, go through that cocoon-like process to come out on the other side and say, okay, I'm here. What's up? What can I do now? I come to my why. I'm in this space. How can I help? What can I put into place? Right? Because now my why is going to make me a master in what it is that I need to do while I'm on this plane. And I'm pretty sure I didn't come out here to drive a BMW 100 miles an hour and run into a pole. I'm pretty sure that was not my goal. You know what I'm saying? For coming down here. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't come out here to wear Gucci and Louis Vuitton or any other things that y'all actually name or characterize. Right? I came
Right.
here for my why and for me to be able to flourish, you know what I'm saying, in its existence with a trillion other whys that's down here just like me. For whatever reason,
And
their why is
and
here.
and to be of service. See, that's the thing that I had. We all of humanity, we are here to serve each other.
Each other.
We're here as servants. And
And I
as
felt
a
yeah.
servant, right, right. And
Yeah.
the Most High want us to serve on the Most High, not to bring people down, not to think that we are the be all and end all, that is all about me, 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 me. Which again, people always say self-care,
Yeah.
self-care.
Okay.
That's so selfish. No,
Yeah.
self-care is about taking care of yourself so you can be of service to others.
That's the principle of self-care, and that's what's supposed to be the principle. Because when we looking at God and we talking about the Most High, we all most of the time you talking about somebody about God, they look in the air, right? Ready? As soon as you say God, up in the sky, like you know what I'm saying? Like
Up there
where
in
he
the
at?
sky.
He up there, right? You
What's
know what I'm
that in the
saying?
sky?
And yeah, he's always up there somewhere, right? But the whole thing is that even if man creates it, and this was the one thing that man really realized, right? Man's created a concept, right? Let's say a metaphysical concept that the Most High is up in the sky, that he's high, right? So let's say this concept is true that the Most High is up in the sky, he's high up in the sky, right? Hmm. If the Most High is high up in the sky and we created the concept that he's high in the sky, wouldn't that mean that we all supposed to be elevating to be high in the sky too, to be elevating high as well, right? Because what do you mean? How are you going to say an entity that created you is high in the sky, but you comfortable down here? You just want to be here, like. But the entity
You don't
created
want
you
to
is
fly
over.
like the eagles. You don't want
You
to
don't want to
fly.
fly like the eagle. You just want to see the eagle and say, you know what? Let's create a camera and take a picture of the eagle, right? Instead of trying to join the eagle, we're gonna just take pictures of the eagle and say he's the highest flying bird in existence, right? All the
Yes.
different data and stuff that we have to create it, right? And instead of actually looking for higher principles for our existence, everything. And I say this all the time, and I say with a wounded heart too, I say this, that all the things that's given to us as adversaries, you know what I'm saying, as controversies in life, is given to us to solve, not to perpetuate.
Mm-hmm.
We're here to solve these things that come against us because life is supposed to be the greatest element in existence. There's supposed to be
Yes,
nothing that's supposed to be greater than life itself.
that's
Nothing should
right.
be able to take the precedence, to take over the presence of life. You know what I'm saying? Especially an inanimated object, as far
Yes.
as money, houses, cars, and all the other weird things. The white man just went to prison, Murdoch, right, for killing his wife and his son, right, over some whatever issue that they had, and it all had to do with something they say called the finances. Now, okay, you was a prominent lawyer for 30 years. When they showed the house that the family um, passed away at, it looked like 20 of the blocks that in my community alone, right? So
Mm-hmm.
he was really prominent. He had money. He had this great big property. He had a wife. He had two sons. He was a part of a big business practice. He was prominent. People knew who he was and things of that nature. But there was something that came in the land that was greater than his why,
Yeah.
right? And he
Yeah.
took it upon himself to actually act on that because he wanted to put his why baby back together. A lot of time your why, your lose grabs to your why, and sometimes why it just start falling apart like a puzzle. And you're like, why is it falling apart? You try to hold up the W and it's crumbling, and then you try to hold
And
on to
and
the
and,
to
and
the
see,
H,
and
and then
that's
the
a lot
H
of times.
break, right?
Right. And that's a lot of times what happened, Nathaniel. People are, and see, he was caught up in this wanting to preserve an image, wanting to preserve this image because his family had been like for generations after generation after generation after generation. They had
Became his
had
why.
this image,
Yeah, his
and
image.
he wasn't living the image, but he felt like he had to live that image. He was living a double life.
Yep.
He wasn't being authentic.
Yeah.
He wasn't
Yeah.
being real, you know.
And then when
And
their
that's
why is
another
about to be
thing.
exposed, that's when people why they're being exposed, or if you're doing things with your why you're not supposed to, the next thing you know, you're trying to cover things up. You're trying to do all type of things to cover things up because you know what I mean. For the why that you have is not conducive. You know what I'm saying? That
It's
why is
not
not
in the light.
beneficial.
See,
That's right,
i-
and that's and
if
that's
your
where it can
why
trap
is
you
not
up.
something that's in the light, now this is me. If your why, if the reason you're doing something is not something that is in the light, then it is in the darkness.
And
And
you'll
if
do
it's
everything
in
to
the
keep it.
darkness,
You'll do everything to keep it there because you don't want nobody to see it. That's why you put it there in the first place, right? You hid it wide
right,
there in that dark corner because you didn't want nobody to see it. So if somebody get to see it, you're gonna be like, oh, I gotta get rid of that person because they get to see my why that's hard hidden in this dark little space right here, right? Being aware of your why and being open with your why, and even allowing people to touch your why and see your why, you know what I'm saying, also increases it for you, right? But if you're doing things, hanky panky things with your why, like even with some of these platforms that people be on, they don't go nowhere because people that's on there got some real faulty, you know what I'm saying, whys, right? And they destroy a lot of platforms. They destroy the money that's coming to the platform. They destroy the changes that supposed to take place on the platform. And, they take whatever they could get and then they run with it, right? And then they leave the why on the table for
and,
everybody
and,
just walk by
and
and see
Nathaniel,
it and
and
see the why.
Nathaniel, that is one reason. Let's take it all the way to the top. Let's take it all the way to the rulers of this world. Let's take it all. What is their why? What is the
Mm-hmm.
why of the rulers of this world? Is
And
it
we don't even know.
is it to elevate you? Is it to elevate
No,
me? Is it to
no.
is it to for my good, for your good, for the good of humanity? No. It's
It's a
usually
thousand wives. They got 1,000 wives in there. They all clashing at each other. You know what I'm saying? Take a trip to Albany, and you'll be like, well, why they even come up here, right? It's all this clashing, right? Everybody is superior. Everybody is an egotistical giant, right? And they made it. They arrived, right? They come here to bring forth
but
changes
are
in the
they for
lives
the
of.
people?
Well,
Or
are they for the
do they
people? So if you for the people and people go to Albany and you work in Albany, you're for the people, and you're not hugging and embracing the people that came all the way to Albany to visit y'all, then I would say that you're not for the people. I would actually say you're not
right?
for the people
Are, are,
because
are,
people
are you
got on
striving?
buses and trains and stuff to come all the way out here to find out what little policy you're working on and policy he's working on and policy he's working on and so forth and so forth. And they met with sternness. You know what I'm saying? They met with some so-called professional integrity. You know what I'm saying? Stance. You know what I'm saying? What do you want, sir? How can I help you, sir? Yeah. Yeah, that's the policy. You know what I'm saying? These are the things. It's so constricted. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
when you try to get to their why, you don't know where they wire because they wire is like a snake. It's like moving. Every time you try to grab a snake, it just slips out your hand. It slip out your hand. You can't get it.
Could wait a minute. Could that be because their why is not actually something that can be in the light, but it's in the dark because it's not
I'm
about the people, but it's a
I'm
selfish aggrandizement?
I'm explaining why. And when people really look at this, they better understand it. Their why is according to their law books is shepherdized. Their why is
Okay.
according to the law books. The law books are shepherdized, right? What does
Okay.
shepherdized mean? It means you don't know what's going on. One story knocks out another story, another law knocks out another law. This principle knocks out this principle, and so forth and so forth and so forth, to the point where there's like nothing there, right? They shepherdize. They always moving around. They hide this here. This is over here. This is in this archive over here. This is all the way up here in a mountaintop, somewhere digged into a hole. Different places like that where you can't even find what is going on. They always moving. It's always moving. So when you're looking at the why, you really, even if you look at their policies and their procedures, a lot of time that's not their why. That's just the policy procedures according to that role. So at the end of the day, there are roles that's being filled. It's not the people that's being filled, but the roles that's being filled. So according to that role, this is what they have to follow. This is what they're doing. And then they come in with their own, you know what I'm saying, little mess. And we don't know what's going on. So if you ever look at the law books and you start reading their law books, you'll say, wow, man, like, what's going on? This law just said they couldn't do that. But then this law right here said they could do that. Like, what's happening over here? You'll get to see actually what's taking place within this society right here. And it's not just America. All these governments all over the world is emulating the same concepts and the same principles, right? And they make things to make your why. So the military is your why, the nonprofits is your why. You know what I'm saying? All these different things that they create in the world, the religions and everything like that, they create. A lot of time they create as your why, right?
Oh,
So you gotta
okay.
understand.
And you said it that's a key word. They create that for your why. That's why you
Yeah.
know I always talk about doing that self-examination and
Mm-hmm.
become self-aware,
That's
because
right.
sometimes we think that what we're doing originates with us when it is not really us, but is how we have been manipulated
Manipulated. That's correct.
manipulate. And
That's
then
correct.
we may not even understand why we're not feeling good about what we're doing, why we're
That's
not at
correct.
peace with what we're doing, why we don't love what we're doing, because we have been manipulated
Yeah.
into thinking that that is your why. That
Yeah.
is where you should be.
Look at the industrial industry. The industrial industry, men was forced to work in the industrial industry because there was no other forms of income. So they had to go in the industrial industry, work in these factories and work in these mines and things of that nature, because there was no other source of income. So all those men that actually created the industrial complex workforce, that was not their wise. That was not all those men wise, right? This is something when you actually come into social constructs. People don't think that social constructs exist, but social constructs do exist. When you go onto different platforms and you start investigating the data, you'll see that social constructs been around for a long time. You'll see that certain areas, like for instance, a McDonald's does not go into a community for no reason. A McDonald's goes to a community after it does its research about the inhabitants of that community. What are the eating habits of that community, the drinking habits of that community, and things of that nature. And then they actually put that place there for you to actually go in there and spend your hard-earned money to buy burgers or whatever it is that you're buying out of those places, right? But those places are only created according to data. They're not just popped there for no reason. It's according to data. A nonprofit going in your community is according to data. You know what I'm saying? All the different places that come into your community is according to data. That's the reason why it's there. It ain't just come out of thin air. No, it's research that actually brought it there because now it knows we can eat up this population. This population likes the things that we come to offer, right?
Right.
So
we're bringing you death, and you're going to love it.
Love what? With every bite. With every bite. You know what I'm saying?
And you know, you said something earlier about how when you really come into your why, not one that has been given to you.
Yeah, see, that's what you gotta understand. You gotta get to that point.
Your why. And when you get there, it may cause a separation from your friends, from your family. It may cause, because, okay, all those men that may be working in a factory, you may decide, okay, this is not part of where I want to be. I want to sell pies on the street.
That's right. That's right.
That's my why. That's what why. I am. That's my why. Correct. It's not correct. To go into a factory. It's not to sit there. But I just want to sit on the corner and sell pies.
Yeah.
You know, I'm happy doing this.
Yeah, that's
I don't make a lot of money.
But I'm chilling. I meet a lot of people. I meet a lot of people. I have a lot of interesting conversations. You know, I do. It's a lot of different perks that can actually come from me out there selling these pies, right? But normacy is not a why, right? So when you go into a lot of these places, the nonprofits or basically corporations, stuff like that, people got these different titles and stuff like that, and it's a normacy for it to be a director or a counselor or different things. All the things are normacies, but these are not whys, right?
That's right.
The position is not your why, and people take the position and they make it into their why, and they're known for this position. They're known for this reality. But if that reality dissolves, what are they known for? They're known for that. They're not known for transitioning. They're not known for being a consultant. They're not known for anything. They're just known for that why of that entity, right? And just with these things that they create all these different things, and you say, okay, well, I'll be a doctor, or I'll be a lawyer. Well, my father, he was a firefighter, so I was most likely I'm gonna be a firefighter, right? We find ourselves in those spaces. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that even if you go into a normacy, take the time out to find out who you are.
Right? If that's where you really want to be.
If that's where you really want to be. Yeah.
Is that where you find your joy, your peace, your happiness when you go into that whatever profession you may have chosen for yourself, whatever title you may have chosen for yourself? Is this your why? Not a why that was given to you by
Mm-hmm.
society, not a why
Yeah.
that was given to you by your family, not a why that
Yeah.
was given to you by your friend, but your why,
It's
the
your why.
reason for your existence, the reason for your living, the reason for your being here to carry on a certain thing. And it's
Yeah.
not for me to
And
say, it's not
and
for
that's for you.
Nathaniel.
It's for you to say. Yeah, it's not for me. It's not for Jeannie. It's not for Aristotle, Socrates, or any other men that people want to talk about, Martin King or Malcolm X, or any other men that they actually bringing forth in the universe, right? These men found their whys, and most of them, and these men, according to society, die according to their why and die within their why, right? We are of the hope and we are of the prayer and the mercy of the Most High that they was released from their why when it was time for them to transition to find peace with the Most High after they finished their duty and was sacrificed according to it, right? And our whys in this world are our sacrificial lambs that I said in the beginning of this broadcast, that our whys are, we are sacrificial lambs to our why. Our whys would take us places that we can't even imagine, like Jonah and the well. You know what I'm saying? The mouth of the well. That's where his why took him at, right there, right? My Lord, give me eye as well. It stinks in here. I got to get up out of here.
When
You know
you submit and bow down, you will.
what I'm
Are you ready to submit?
saying? Yeah, so it's, our why is us a lot in a nutshell, and it would take us on journeys and paths that is unknown to us, a lot
That's
of
right.
times scary to us. And a lot of times, some of our leaders that we found, like Gandhi and them, things like that, violent. Our
Right.
wives would lead to violence against us, what I'm saying, in the world. You know what I mean? I even read an article, passage the other day on Pluto, and he said that no man is hated more than he that speaks the truth. So,
Mm,
we live in a society where we need to understand what our whys is, but we also need to understand the whys of a society and how the
right.
society actually operates and move according to whys that actually seek to bring forth true humanitarian values and concepts for all of us to live. No one want to hear about a Bill Gates. We all supposed to be Bill Gates. No one want to hear about this person or that person. We're all the people, right?
That's
No one
right.
want to hear about this person being rich and these people being poor. Who are you? The sun shine on all of us, right?
Right.
So it's systems that actually been created that create these realities. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The rich versus the poor. That's why when so-called poor people leave so-called poor communities, they transition into so-called rich communities, right?
Right.
And they never come back to the poor communities to uproot the poor communities according to schools, park, educational books, um, business training centers, um, exercise or training, for boxing and stuff like that. None of these things are brought back into the community. Once this value leaves the community, that value doesn't come back into the community. That value actually
Right.
builds in another community that already has value. That community already has all the value you could ever need for a lifetime. And then they go into that space and they build up that value community, and they don't build up the value communities that they actually transition from, right? And a lot of times when you're looking at leadership, you got to look at how the Most High has created us. He has created us to elevate. He has created us to
Yes.
actually be the guiding light for one another, to be the purpose for one another, and to be an example of mistakes, be an example of elevation, be an example of living according to your why, living according to your purpose, and be an example of what it is to have a relationship with God, and how to transition that relationship back to your fellow man. As Christ would say, it is impossible for you to love God who have not seen, and and hate he who have seen, right? So be careful on a lot of time what our whys are. I'm not gonna let Jeannie go into the. Jeannie ain't got to do the meditation today. She had a long day, but we have this
Oh
was a
yeah, I
meditative.
need a meditation.
Okay, because this is a meditative segment right here, and I'm actually going to be sharing this.
Okay, thank you everyone. Thank you everyone for being with us today. We are grateful for your time. We don't take that lightly because we know that time is valuable. So thank you for being here. And we encourage you that if you have not discovered your why, just keep on, keep on, keep on, keep on, keep on. Life is preparing you for your why. Okay, with that, we're going to take a deep breath and let it out slowly. On the count of 4, take another deep breath and let it out slowly. If you're in a space where you feel safe, close your eyes. Close your eyes. Take another deep breath to the count of 4 and blow it out like you're blowing through a straw. Relax the top of your head. Relax your face. Relax your neck. Relax. Relax your shoulders. Ooh, relax. Ooh, it feels good to relax. Going down your arms. Relax your fingers. Move. Wiggle your fingers. Relax. Move down your body, relaxing as you go. Taking a deep breath. Let it out slowly. Relax your legs. Relax. Going down your calves. Relax. Relax your feet. Relax your toes. Wiggle your toes. Relax. Take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. I am going to count backwards from 5. We're going to take a deep breath. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a deep breath. Let it out slow. Relax. Open your eyes. Open your eyes. Open your eyes. Peace and blessings.
Welcome to Alma Data. Subscribe. We see y'all next week. Blessings to everybody. Remember, locking that why.